Hey man, I'm excited, Cody. Hey, don't worry. Hey, I'm over here dancing and everything, brother.
I was about to say, come on, bro.
It's Monday. It's 10:30, which means it's time for Embrace Debate here on the Keep Pounding Podcast Network, powered by the Fans First Sports Network. Desmond Johnson, I'm your host, joined by the four-man rushes, Monty, Fetti, and from Carolina Cat Chronicles, Cody Lachney in the house. We just finished the NFL draft, pretty much kind of the end of our 2022 season, and a look forward into 2023. Got a lot to talk about this morning. We'll dive right in. Before we get started, though, fellas, how was your weekend? It was filled with draft analysis, wild late round picks, and Carolina was first in, first out pretty much in terms of first pick selected. They were done by Saturday, 5th round. How was the weekend?
Week was good for me, fellas. Man, I hope everybody was blessed. They had a good weekend. I was excited to see finally see who we got at quarterback. And I know we're gonna talk about that here shortly. But yeah, man, weekend was fun. It was a little longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought, well, it was shorter for the Panthers, longer for me partially. But but it was had a great weekend. I hope y'all did too.
How you doing, Cody?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Originally, I wasn't feeling too good about this draft for the Panthers, but I've had some time to sit and chill with it, watch a little bit of the film, and I'm feeling a little bit better now. So, I know we got a lot to talk about. Happy to be here with you, gentlemen, and let's embrace debate.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out to everybody that's starting to find us on YouTube and on different podcast platforms through the Keep Pounding Podcast Network. Had a line waiting to get in here when we first came in, so appreciate everybody wanting to come in and check out the debate. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get it popping. First question of the morning: can quarterback Bryce Young, who was the first player selected in the 2023 NFL Draft on Thursday night by the Panthers, can he be a day one starter for Carolina? And if so, with him being the number one overall pick, should that be the expectation that he's the day one starter in Carolina? Cody, let's start off with you.
Yeah, listen, we've heard Frank Reich say that Andy Dalton is the starter, but we know that ain't true, man. Like they're gonna make him earn it. It wouldn't surprise me, 1 or 2 weeks after training camp, we get the official announcement that Bryce Young is going to be the starter for the Carolina Panthers. And in my opinion, that's why you drafted Bryce Young. Because even though he was shorter than every other quarterback, he had the most potential to be able to come out his rookie season, be able to start and hit the ground running. And to be honest, I would be very disappointed if he wasn't starting this season, based on that same premise. So, yeah, I definitely think he's going to be a starter. I think we have the best quarterback room in football right now. Like we have 2 talented young football players. We have an established veteran. We've really rebuilt the receiver core. We got weapons on weapons on weapons right now. We don't have like a true number one proven wide receiver, but I really don't feel like we need that. And if you look at what David Tepper said in that press conference, Bryce is so good at spreading the ball around. One of the benefits to him is that you really don't even need to have that true number one presence. So, yeah, I fully expect Bryce to be the man going into week 1. And I'm calling my shot right now. The first game of the season is going to be the Carolina Panthers taking on the Houston Texans, number 1 versus number 2. Let's go, baby.
Monty, thoughts on this? Bryce Young, can he be a day one starter in this league for the Panthers? And if so, is that your expectation now going forward that Bryce will be the day one starter, similar to the last time we drafted a quarterback number 1 overall, Cam Newton?
Yeah, I hate to start this new era agreeing with Cody, but I absolutely, I absolutely agree. I don't want to say it's my expectation. I agree with Cody. I think that they're definitely going to make it a competition. I think they're going to make him earn that spot. To his point as well, I think Matt Corral is going to fight for that job as well. I think it's going to be I think training camp this year is going to be interesting for real. But no, I think definitely Bryce is definitely going to be the day one starter. I think he was head above everybody, as a quarterback position, in this year's class. I think he may have been the smallest quarterback in this class, but always had the biggest impact, comparative to all the rest of the quarterbacks in this class. So yeah, I think he's going to be the day one starter. I think that, again, they're going to make a competition, but it's an easy yes for me.
I had a question too, thinking about this during the draft, and I saw that Matt Corral had tweeted out a cryptic tweet during the draft about knowing where you're wanted and all this kind of stuff, and then he took it down. What do you think happens to Matt Corral? Because this coaching staff did not draft him, so it's not easy to say that he will be here come September. I could easily see them trying to move him off or whatever may happen. But then again, the potential to see what exactly is there is available too. If I'm not mistaken, Thomas Brown said that they're going to be running a kind of a RPO style type offense. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that what he came from?
Yeah, that's what Matt Corral did at Ole Miss, and to me,
Absolutely.
it makes no sense, in my humble opinion, to trade Matt Corral. Monty knows I'm like the biggest Matt Corral fanboy. I don't even hide it. But what I'm trying to say is, if you look at our offense, Miles Sanders said that we're going to an RPO style of offense. I'm sorry, but that benefits Matt Corral better than it does Andy Dalton. And knowing that the Carolina Panthers played 4 quarterbacks last year, injuries happen. Like, why not have a young, talented quarterback ready and waiting to go? That's also on a rookie contract if Bryce, God forbid, were to get hurt for whatever reason. And another thing, Desmond, what kind of value would Matt even fetch you? Like, is a 6th or 7th round pick going to be worth more than what Matt Corral is right now? I don't think so.
I think you gotta.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think you got to roll with Corral too, man. Or at least give it to training camp, and let him compete. I think there's 2 young quarterbacks there. He's coming off injury. If what they said is true, he's gained some weight. So like I said, I want to see him compete. I mean, definitely want to see him and Bryce go at it. If it is going to an RPO offense, it would definitely do nothing but benefit Matt Corral as well. And again, Cody just hit it on the head. Injuries happen. We saw last year we were down to quarterback 4 or 5 last year. So and I don't want to be in that position to where we are down, we are down in dire straits, and we have God knows who's at quarterback, like we were last year. So, I think you definitely got to give Matt Corral a shot.
I'm intrigued a little bit by him, especially with our 2nd round pick, the wide receiver, John Domingo, who he was throwing to, if I'm not mistaken, at Ole Miss 2 years ago. So they've got a rapport. I could see them kind of building something in training camp that might stand out. I would not mind having Matt Corral as the backup quarterback going forward. And who knows? I mean, we never really got a chance to see him, so we really don't really know what we have with him with live bullets. So at least let's see what we have before you decide what to do with him. Fans commenting on the show today. Virginia Hall says Bryce will have to blow me out of the water to make me a fan of him. He'll have to go 11-6 or 12-5. Well, he won't do it by himself. I
don't think that's going to. Hey, man, in this division, I don't know if that's going to be too much to ask for.
Yeah, that's possible.
It's not impossible, not at all.
Plus, I'll say this too, and somebody mentioned this to me this weekend. I never really thought about it, and now I'm like, okay, we got to get off of the whole we don't know about Bryce and the size or whatever. He's 5'10", yeah, I get it. PJ Walker was 5'11", and we never mentioned his height, not once. While he was here, and for some reason, it's the first thing we talk about with Bryce. He's an inch shorter and way more talented with a better arm and a Heisman. So I mean, the Bama pedigree, like it's different. PJ Walker was 5'11". Every time you guys talk about that, just keep in mind the guy that won a couple of games for us last year was only an inch taller, and nobody had a problem with his height then.
And I think he threw the furthest ball in the league
in the air.
Like a 60-yard pass.
It's an overrated thing.
Hey, he's gonna have to prove it, man. Like all those doubters about Bryce, they're not going anywhere The fact of the matter is, he is the smallest quarterback in the NFL right now. So until he starts producing the W's, you're always going to have those detractors that are just not willing to believe that he can get the job done on Sundays.
He seems to thrive on that, though, which is what I like.
Yes.
Like, he seems to thrive on people doubting him, as opposed to having it's not like a chip on his shoulder. It's like a Steph Curry. I heard it earlier this week. Irrational confidence. Like, you should not be this confident based on when we look at you. You shouldn't be this confident in your abilities, but it shines through, and it doesn't come off as arrogance. It just comes off as he's going to get it done. Like, we've watched him get it done so many times that the size don't even matter anymore. And that's where we are with Steph. I think that's where we are with Bryce. Shout out to Steph Curry, by the way, who is flirting with entering GOAT territory. Like, I'll just say it right here. Like, he's flirting with it. Like, he's up in that. He is, if he gets a 5th title this year, he'll be at the table with Kobe and Magic.
Oh, absolutely. Top 3, top 4 of all time.
I'd have to put him past LeBron at that point, because he would have beaten LeBron.
Makes an argument.
3 of the titles.
Makes a strong argument.
I mean, yeah, we'll embrace that debate another day. Let's get back to the Panthers. Best mid to late round pick for Carolina this weekend, and why? Monty, we'll start off with you.
I don't know if I'm gonna say mid round. My favorite pick after Bryce would be Jonathan Mingo. You know, I love I love the guard that we got from North Carolina State. Favorite pick I'd probably say would be Mingo. You know, and because I believe they're going to try to replace Mingo with what they did with DJ Moore. And if that's the case, I think that we have a potential stud in Desmond Mingo. I think he tests off the charts. You know, he has the ideal size that you're looking for in a wide receiver one. He has the speed that you're looking for in a wide receiver one. I feel like he's very underrated with the 50-50 ball. And again, like you said, you know, he's going to be coming in and likely taking snaps with Matt Corral from the second team or third team, what have you, whatever team he's going to be on. So, so it's 6'2", 220. I feel like he's definitely has the ideal size, man. So he would be my favorite pick. You know, if we're talking about after the first two rounds, probably will be the guard from North Carolina, but he definitely would be my favorite pick after Bryce.
Cody, same question. Who's your what mid to late round pick for Carolina this weekend was the best one in your eyes, and why?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Chandler Zavala out of the guard out of NC State. Like, listen, when is the last time you can remember the Carolina Panthers having good depth on their offensive line? Like, we couldn't even get good starters for the longest time, and now we have legitimate depth. I really like that pickup. I know James Campen loved it. That clip circulated Twitter of him like celebrating after the pick was made. Yeah, that's a James Campen pick, and he's already one of the best O-line coaches that we've ever had. So if he's excited about him, there's no reason for me not to be excited about him. He played next to Ikem Ekwonu, our franchise left tackle, so they already kind of have that chemistry with one another. And he seems like a cool, down to earth dude. And I love that pick because my brother is a Saints fan, right? And he was telling me that with Drew Brees, they always made it a point to continuously invest on that offensive line and give your quarterback the proper protection.
Oh, the Cowboys do it all the time.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And you have to do that, especially now that you did draft a quarterback that's like 5'10", 200 pounds. So that's incredibly important. I'm loving the depth right now. People are already debating between him and Brady Christensen being our starting left guard. Maybe even right.
You're debating that.
I was going to say, nobody's debating that but you, Cody. But we love you, Cody. But nobody.
Hey, dude, Brady Christensen is a dog, bro. I will defend that man till death.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, man, for sure. And but no, I do love that pick, and knowing that Austin Corbett might not be available at the very start of the season due to him tearing his ACL, that it's a perfect pick for us. It's perfect.
I'm seeing in the comments, I didn't bring my phone over here into the studio, but Jamarcus Antoine just put CJ Henderson has been released. Thank God. I saw that they didn't extend his 5th-year option, but I haven't seen anything about it being released. Is that accurate?
This will be the second show in a row, y'all. We've had breaking news during the show. Hold on, I'm looking now.
Yeah, I'm going to go check. I see.
Yeah, I'm also.
Okay, so CJ Henderson's 5th-year option has been declined.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's been cut. The
These
Panthers
sources have confirmed. It's not been exercised. The Blitz have, they just confirmed that he hasn't been released, guys. I think it's
yeah,
just
he's. I mean, he's still. I mean, this is year 4 for him.
Yeah,
Like
we,
they could have.
right.
we've been trolled, y'all. We've been trolled.
Oh
They,
yeah,
they could. They did pick up the 5th year option this morning for Derek Brown.
Right.
So that is there. Keep in mind, CJ Henderson was acquired in a trade with the Jaguars. That was a Matt Rule trade. He was the 9th overall pick in the 2020 draft. So he was traded for Dan Arnold, the tight end. I forgot about that. So we'll see. There's a couple of guys in that draft class that haven't had their 5th year extended. Chase Young, Washington, last week. Jeff Okudah, Isaiah Simmons, the Clemson linebacker that a lot of people around here wanted at the time. But Derek Brown gets his 5th year option, which is good. For me, I think it was looking at everyone, probably Mingo. I was hoping that they were going to go in and get a wide receiver. I saw the David Tepper clip where he was talking to Mingo when they drafted him, and he said he was talking to Steve Smith on the phone right before, and Smith told him to go draft Mingo. I had heard comparisons that he's like a faster version of AJ Brown, which is totally fine. if that's what he's going to come out to,
yeah,
sign me up. Let's go. But now, here's my bonus question: is this the deepest the wide receiver room the Panthers have had in like 20 years? Because I was sitting there trying to think back to another time where they've had this many guys. Because not all these guys are going to make the roster. Like they've got like 8 or 9 wide receivers at this point. But I could see them holding on to a hard 6, and they would be.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I don't know if it's the deepest, and reason we haven't seen them play. We've yet to see any of. I mean, we're just hoping that Terrace Marshall produces, and we're hoping that Mingo pops here. So I don't know if it's the deepest yet. I think that's a little too early for that. And I say that here because in 2020 we had Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson, they both went, and DJ Moore both went for over 1,000 yards, and then Curtis Samuel went for 1,000 all-purpose yards. So I think that's a little premature to say that.
I would say that it has the most potential. So I mean, probably. Right now, I mean, if you look at it straight up, Terrace Marshall Jr. is not proven. DJ Chark has been a good receiver, but he's still looking for that breakout year, which I do think he's capable of having here in Carolina. You draft Jonathan Mingo, and I mean, Adam Thielen is probably your most tenured receiver with the most that he's actually proven in the NFL. So they haven't proven it yet. But when you look at the talent and the dynamic and the speed and the size, yeah, this could end up being one of those receiver cores that we remember for a long time to come. A ton of potential, man, a ton.
There's still some conversation in the comment section about the 5th year option and what exactly it is. Because it appears, I guess people are thinking since CJ didn't get his 5th year extended, that means he's basically going to get cut. That's not necessarily the case. Someone had asked, I'm trying to find the comments are going in so quick. I was trying to find the one. Someone was asking us to explain what the 5th year option is. Here it is. MLT says, I actually need someone to explain how the 5th year option works. So basically, it's only for 1st round picks. If you're a 1st round pick in the draft that you were in, you're signed to an initial 4-year deal, and it's slotted in based on the selection you were selected at in the round. The team that drafted you at the end of your 3rd season can start to negotiate extending you to a 5th year on that 4-year. If you're 2nd round, 3rd round, whatever, you don't get the option to negotiate after your 3rd year for a 5th. Now, teams deny giving players 5th year options all the time. It doesn't mean they no longer own that player. It's basically like a show me type deal. Like, okay, we're not going to give you this 5th year extension. Right. Yeah, prove it to us that you can do it in this 4th year, and then we'll talk after the season's over. The team runs the risk of that player becoming an unrestricted free agent because of it. You could potentially have this player play themselves into more money than you were willing to pay them by not locking them into a 5th year.
Daniel Jones
is a perfect example of that. So Lamar Jackson, another perfect example of where they couldn't get a deal done for a 5th year. Well, no, I think they did get a 5th year extension done, but then after the 5th year is when all this other stuff started happening. They couldn't get his money until last week. So hopefully that explains what it is. It's not for all draft picks. It's only for 1st rounders. So and that's why that's there. CJ Henderson is still a Carolina Panther. He probably will be through training camp and into the season, to be honest, because they didn't draft any cornerbacks. I think they picked up some. We're going to talk here in just a bit in terms of unrestricted free agent signings that they had. look for in terms of the draft and the Panthers going back. Question number 3: which Carolina pick did you not agree with or like, and why? Monty, let's start with you on this one.
Um, it's DJ Johnson, and I think for the value that we got for him, I believe he probably could have been there at 93 instead of trading up to 80. But again, I guess from hearing, just reports and then just listening over interviews, DJ Johnson may have been a little higher. He may have been just a little higher than what fans thought as well. So I could be ignorant in saying that. I just just looking over from his Senior Bowl, some of the film that some of the guys have posted in our group chat there. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan. The same way how I felt about Tommy Trimble and Troy Pride. I posted that today. It's kind of how I feel about DJ Johnson. I feel like there's upside there. There's potential there. I just don't believe that, or I'm not ready to invest another time in another developmental pass rusher when we are in need for one. I feel like we definitely got to go get a veteran. And this wasn't my favorite pick.
Cody.
Yeah, so listen, man, shout out to my guy Twan Don of the 704 Charlotte Bound podcast, because he's been high on Jamie Robinson. He's an FSU fan, and we drafted his guy Jamie Robinson. I'm still gonna say it's not the pick that I'm in love with, just because we signed so many safeties this past offseason. Like, we brought in Von Bell, we already have Jeremy Chin, Xavier Woods is still coming back. But we do have good depth at that position, and I just feel like there were a few times in this draft when the Panthers just straight up went best player available. And instead of trying to draft whatever your needs are, they were like, no, we like this player better than whatever position we might need more. So I do like his film. He's fast. He's aggressive. And that's one thing that I know about this Panthers front office. They like players with upside. Even if they didn't have the best college film, if you look at their physical potential, there's a lot of good football left in all these dudes. But, to me, just knowing that we're good at safety, and I would have liked to go on, get a corner, maybe like an Eli Ricks at some point. That would have been fantastic. But, in my mind, Jamie Robinson was kind of a head scratcher, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Safety, they do seem pretty set there. I would have to think that if they do think that Robinson's going to have a good chance to make the team, that it means that Chin's going to play a lot more linebacker than what we might have thought going into this. I'd always thought that that Chin would play more of like a Troy Polamalu type of hybrid type role, where he's be listed as safety, but he really spends most of his time in the box. And can kind of disrupt from there. Like, you don't really know where he's going to be. He can kind of roam. So because of that, you might need to have two safeties back there plus him. I think they're going to pretty much be in like nickel pretty much the entire time anyway. In terms of the way it sounds, they're going to have 5.
Well, and with the Giro Vero, many people have said that there are going to be many times where we're going to have 5 defensive backs on the field.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Panthers, they want to be able to be multiple, and they want to have a deep rotation. They put him at nickel a lot, and he has a great nose for the football, as you're seeing there. So I'm not mad with the talent. To me, it's just more of a positional value type of thing.
Some more comments coming in from out of the large group that's come in to watch today's show after the draft. Someone was mentioning, MLT again was mentioning, Mingo is not a fluid route runner as DJ. He needs to be coached up on that. He plays strong though. Talking about
but Mingo, but DJ Stroud, DJ Moore wasn't, he wasn't a great route runner coming out of college, or that was the knock of him coming out of college. They're saying he wasn't the most clean route runner, especially compared to Ridley. Ridley was a route technician, and DJ Moore really wasn't. So I think I really think that he molds to DJ Moore more than AJ Brown. But he's also a lot bigger than DJ Moore. So, I also see the AJ Brown comparisons as well. But back to Jamie Robinson real quickly. I think he's more of a special teams. I think, because they've made an emphasis on keep making special teams a big part of our whole package with the Carolina Panthers, and I feel like he's going to be a special team ace. So I think that's kind of where his role is going to be more than just on the back in the secondary. But
Panther fans love this dude already, man. He's turned up.
They love him. Oh, dude, he's a dog.
Yeah, Dude, he's ready to go, man. And I love that about him, man. That dog mentality, that's important.
Yeah.
I got a confession to make. I thought about it this weekend too, especially when we were drafting Mingo. I think we overrated DJ Moore, like just by default. Like I'm sitting there thinking about it. Yeah, I know he had 3,000-yard seasons in a row, and
Des, you're
who
hurting
was
me,
throwing
man.
at him and everything else. But I'm just kind of thinking back on it. I'm like, okay, this dude was a first-round pick at wide receiver, and I'm trying to think of a game. What was the DJ Moore game? Like what game? What was the game that DJ Moore?
I'm a
broke
DJ
out?
Moore fan. Oh,
Yeah,
I
help
can
me.
go. I can go a couple games like every year. His freshman year rookie year. The Detroit Lions game. That's how I knew he was a dog when he put Darius Slay on the deck. When he scored, when he was caught the ball overhead and he went was 80 yards and almost scored his rookie year. So I'll say that. I think it was the game that he caught the Tennessee Titan game when he caught in the corner of the end zone or right before the corner of the end zone, and he had the double toe tap. It's like, nah, DJ Moore's a dog there. First game against the Jets, 2021, I want to say, when he caught the around over the shoulder. Honestly, Des, in my opinion, we didn't do DJ Moore justice. Just like we have a laundry list of other players we didn't do justice here. And I feel
No,
like,
that I'll agree with.
I feel like if we put a quarterback with DJ Moore, and if make no mistake about it, let Justin Fields turn into a better quarterback, a better thrower of the ball, DJ Moore is going to be a star in Chicago, and I feel like that's what.
Maybe I phrased it wrong because he is a top 20 receiver. So as Chris Rollins mentions here, he is, and I defend him to my friends all the time. He's a top 20 wide receiver. His numbers hold it out. I guess I just had higher expectations for him because to me he was filling in the role of Steve Smith. So it was like I wanted something more for him. I wasn't that upset when they traded him off. And that to me was the telltale sign. I was like, okay, well, we can replace him if I'm not, because I was upset when we cut Steve Smith. Right. I wasn't upset when we traded DJ Moore. And maybe I don't know. I just started thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think we're going to miss DJ Moore that much in terms of what they've done to kind of refill that wide receiver room. So
again, I don't mean to interrupt you. I hate to agree with Monty this early in the month, but DJ Moore and Justin Fields are going to do wonders for one another. And I'm a firm believer that the only reason people don't think of DJ Moore as the number one wide receiver is because of the quarterback room that he's been dealt. And to be honest, I was thinking about it recently. It is going to make me kind of sad that now we get a player like Bryce Young and we're not going to get to see him throw the ball to DJ Moore or Christian McCaffrey. It's like, dang, man, I feel bad for those dudes in that way. I think that's going to be great for Chicago. But I do think that Jonathan Mingo is a DJ Moore type of player. He's bigger, he's stronger. They darn near ran the same 40 time as well. There's a ton of potential for Jonathan Mingo. And to be frank, with the type of upside that he has, I don't think there's something that DJ Moore could do that Jonathan Mingo couldn't theoretically do in the future. So, a little bit of both.
I just realized that we're already 30 minutes in here. I still got 3 more questions to give you guys, so we're going to start getting a little quicker here. Embrace debate NFL draft version here. Monty, Fetti, and Cody Lachney from the C3 Chronicles. Guys, in the NFC South, which pick from a rival got your attention the most over the weekend? Because there was a couple where it perked my eyes, like, oh, okay, I see what y'all are doing. Monty, you want to kick this off? Which pick from an NFC rival got your attention?
Bijan Robinson. I think I like Cordell Patterson. I love Cordell Patterson. I think Bijan Robinson is going to be a dog in Atlanta. But this goes back to our last episode. I think Atlanta is probably the scariest team that scares me the most in our division. I still think we'll walk away with this division, but I do think that they have one of the better offenses, in our division as well. So I think Bijan Robinson is one of the ones that had me like, okay, Atlanta, I see what you're doing.
Yeah. Because I'm surprised they didn't go quarterback, but I guess they really like Desmond Ritter. Cody, what pick did you see from a division rival that kind of got your interest?
Man, of course, the division rival New Orleans Saints. They got to draft my Clemson player, and like just to make me mad, it feels like. No, I'm going with Brian Brashid for the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, but it's not even that. Brian Brashid did not get enough love when he was at Clemson with everything that he had to go through, both personally and injury related. And number two, the guy has a ton of physical potential. He's the type of guy that's going to be a better NFL football player than he was in college. That year that he was coming out of high school, he was the number one player in all high school football, even over Bryce Young. So the dude has a bunch of talent. The New Orleans Saints got 2 picks that I like. They got Brian Bresee and Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame, and I really did like both of those players. So I think that's good for them to try to get younger on the defensive line, and interior pass rush is the most important thing that you can have on your defensive line in today's NFL because you're destroying the pocket for the quarterback. So and also to me, Bijan, he's an incredible player, but they overdrafted him, man. Like you could have gotten another really good player later in the draft. A top 10 pick is either defensive line, offensive line, or someone that's going to take your team to the next level. I didn't love that pick for Atlanta.
Yeah, they definitely needed defense. I agree there. But again, if we're going best player available, I think Bijan Robinson had the argument for being a top 10, top 15 player in this class. So I get it, but I don't disagree with you. They definitely needed a defensive player.
Seeing a couple people say A.T. Perry, the Wake Forest wide receiver that ended up late round selection for the New Orleans Saints. If what's his name was still there, Sean Payton, I'd be a little worried about it that they could develop him into something.
Yeah.
I have no fear of Dennis Allen, whatsoever. The dude has a losing record as a head coach.
Des, I'll take it a step further. I have no fear of the Saints. So it's I hear the Bresee thing. They don't scare me. The Saints just don't scare me.
I got no fear of the Falcons. It's the same way. They don't scare me, man. They just don't.
I was more worried. I think I said it last week. I was more worried about Hendon Hooker ending up in Tampa. Or Atlanta, in the division. I didn't want him in this division because he's the one dude I was like, if he had been healthy the whole year, I would have wanted Hendon over Bryce Young. But that's because hometown, that kind of stuff. He grew up 25 minutes away from me up here in Greensboro. I'm glad he seems like he's landed in a good spot in the Lions. That Lions team actually has, I think, 3 or 4 Dudley High School players on it that might have played together on their state championship team in 2015. So Hendon joining that group over there. Shout out to Twandon chiming in. He's in the house checking in. Dude, I did not forget to call you. I got super busy over the weekend. Try to reach me today after 5 or 6 o'clock and we'll talk because we hadn't had a chance to speak over the weekend. And condolences to Twan. His grandmother passed away this weekend.
I didn't know that. All right, Twan.
Yeah, R.I.P. Prayers, man. Shout out to our prayers with you and your family, man. But Atlanta stole Bijan from Philly. That's what D Cash is saying.
But they went and got DeAndre Swift. They're not even mad.
Yeah, man. Look,
I know, man. It's disgusting.
Before I even get into the next question, I just got to say the Philadelphia Eagles are doing everything right now.
Yeah. Man, they may have the best draft this year. I think they may have had the full best draft this year.
I mean, how can you go wrong when it's okay, who's the best defensive college football team in the past 5 years? 2021 Georgia. Okay, let's just get
let's go get every player. Yeah, let's go get every player on that defense and let's go roll.
Let's put them all in here and just see what happens. And hey, they were a couple of minutes away from winning a Super Bowl last year. They lock up their quarterback on a great deal for both sides. They've got 4 Georgia defenders on their defense now, or it might be 5. I don't know. I've lost count. And then they picked up Swift.
I think it's 5.
So I think they got one more at the very end of the round of the draft. They picked up somebody. I can't remember who it was.
They got
Kelly Ringo.
Yeah. So they got 5 Georgia defenders.
They probably have right now, just looking at things. I mean, I know the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, but they probably have the best pure roster in the NFL.
Probably. And they kept a lot of their free agents too. They re-signed them. We're getting here close to the end. I know you guys got to get going on your Monday work days or whatnot. Grade the Panthers trade on an A to F scale. Are you happy or mad about the draft the Panthers had overall? Cody, I'll let you start this off.
We talking about the overall draft or just the trade that we made?
The overall draft of the Panthers. How would you grade the overall draft?
Yeah, I gave it a B+. And the only reason I won't give it further is because I feel that the position values were kind of flip-flopped. Even though I love the players that we got, I kind of would have preferred to go D-line in the second and then go receiver in the third, maybe pick up a Jalen Hyatt who went to the Giants, get one of the more premier pass rushers that were in the draft. That would have put it over the edge for me. But no, it's a B+ because I love the upside and the potential of all the different players that we drafted. And, when you draft these players, your job as a coach is to be a teacher more than anything. None of these guys coming out of college are finished products. You're going to have to continue to build upon them and grow their skill set. And I feel like we have the coaching staff to do that. And you see that with all of these players. You can make the argument that they're all have the potential to be better NFL players than they ever were in college. So I think B+ is a fair grade.
Monty.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a solid B. I've been trying to look for other reasons to give him a B+ or getting Chrome to A, but I think a solid B is fair. I think, to again agreeing with Cody here, I think some of just the value of where we got some of these players, we're a little off. It seems like the later we got in the draft, kind of the better value players we got versus the, but I don't want to say that. I think maybe I might be just a little too hard on the DJ Johnson trade as well. I can admit there, I may be just a little bit more harder on that DJ Johnson pick. I think that we probably could have stayed put, kept an extra pick and added another player there. But I think it's solid B. I think Bryce Young, getting your franchise quarterback is always going to be, top of the list in my opinion. You got your franchise quarterback, you added a weapon that could potentially be a wide receiver one in your offense. So, I think those are the two biggest things I take away from it. Other guys, I think the guard from North Carolina, that's going to be a developmental piece as well. I think that he has a potential to start, but I definitely think he's going to be a developmental piece. And then Robinson, I think, like I said, I think he's going to be more of a special teams player. So, I think a solid B is fair for me.
Yeah, probably about to be. It wasn't a sexy draft. I think we went into it thinking this was going to be the sexy draft based off of Scott Fitterer's comments. They really just kind of sat back and just whatever came to them on the board after a certain point. Which one was it that they traded? That was for DJ Johnson. They traded up for, right? Yeah. I think that's what got people kind of like, And a lot of times it's weird this time of the year where it's amazing to me how many people grade a draft based off of a team drafting players they've never heard of, so they don't like them. No, that's a horrible pick. And it's because they didn't watch Pac-12 football or whatever at midnight every week. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. So they don't really truly know. But the comp on DJ Johnson was Brian Burns in terms of like what they think they can do with him on the opposite side, and then moving Yetur Gross-Matos to outside linebacker also, which I thought was under the rug headline that they put out last week. I think that could be good for his career too going forward. He seems he'd be better off as a stand-up pass rusher instead of putting his knuckles in the dirt and going that way. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that we need to cover. Anything else you guys wanted to cover before we get out of here for the morning?
We ain't got enough time, but next week we definitely need to incorporate a Brady Christensen question in here. Everybody trying to flame me on Twitter, man. I need to defend myself.
Cody, the jokes write themselves, brother. I love you. The jokes write themselves. Like before we go, let's just say this. let's just unpack that little question there.
Come on, man.
Hey, I think Brady Christensen is a very underrated player. I think that, to your point, Cody, he's proven me wrong in a lot of situations to where I didn't think he was going to be as good as he is now. So I do give you that. There's no way in AT double hockey stick you trade Taylor Moton to start Christian McCain.
I didn't understand.
I can't even talk right now because I'm so frustrated.
It's like, why are we trading the best lineman we got again?
Okay,
it's no way.
Okay, bro. Hear me out. All I'm saying is that last season, after we drafted Akem Ekwonu, listen, they had it in their mind that Akem Ekwonu was playing left tackle. There was never a real competition. They were going to put him at left tackle and Brady Christensen at guard. Like, there was nothing that Christensen did to lose that left tackle position. I also never doubted Akem Ekwonu's ability to play left tackle. I thought guard would be more important in our offense than tackle was. That's why I wanted to put him there. My thing is Brady Christensen, for a guy who was like 6'7", 310 pounds, that man is nimble. He can move. He can do a lot of different things in pass protection that you're going to want. And he's a young player. Like, listen, I don't have a grudge against Taylor Moton. I think he's a good player. But Panther fans have this selective memory, man. There were a couple times last year where Taylor Moton got beat badly. TJ Watt did him dirty. There were a few players that I know. But look, man, you have to be able to step up against the big-time performers in the big-time moments. And I feel like there were times last year when Taylor Moton was kind of the worst offensive lineman on the team when it came to pass protection. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying I'd prefer to get younger. I would prefer to get fast at all positions. And to me, Brady Christensen, like people are trying to put him as a swing tackle. The dude has too much talent, man. The dude has too much talent to be riding the bench as a backup. That's all I'm saying, man.
So you think Brady Christensen versus TJ Watt is a better matchup?
I mean, he has to prove it. I mean, I've never seen that matchup, but I'm saying I've seen Taylor Moton. I've said, yeah, I want to see it. And I saw Taylor Moton at times last year. Really, he got it put on him a few times last year. So if you have a younger player that might be able to upgrade that position and get some trade value for Taylor Moton, hey, man, I know y'all might think I'm insane, but it's not that outside of possibility to me.
Cody, we love you, brother.
Yeah, man. I saw it on Twitter. I was like, straight Taylor Moton. Like, I couldn't even get deep enough in the thread to I was like, what is happening here? Like, I don't know what the deal is, but
they were roasting me. I promise. They were roasting my ass.
Well, hey, the one thing that taught me last year was that you can never have enough at whatever position, whether it's cornerback, offensive line. Ask the 49ers if they wish they had 8 quarterbacks on the roster last year. They probably would be Super Bowl champions. So depth is key. It felt like this draft was about that, getting depth.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have all these linemen as opposed to where we were, say, 5-6 years ago, where we're pulling dudes off the street to play offensive line in front of Cam Newton. Like, I mean, literally. Like, hey, you want to play left guard for the Panthers? What you doing today? Come on in.
Yeah, exactly right. It's crazy.
So we're going to go ahead and head on out. I know Monty's got to get going. I got to get going. Cody's got things to do. Appreciate everybody that stopped by this morning. We'll be back next Monday morning with a brand new Embrace Debate. Follow us online. You can follow us online, the Keep Pounding Podcast Network. Just Google it. Follow us on Twitter. It's at KP _ Pounding Network. And follow the Fans First Sports Network also, home to pods for all of the NFL teams and more. It's former hosts from the SB Nation platform that migrated over and started their own thing. We're with them. So definitely check them out as well. And if you want to check out the video on this and you can get a little notification when we're going to come on Monday mornings, every morning, just go over to YouTube, youtube.com/@Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Once we put in that we're about to go on, you'll get a notification. So you'll be ready to go. And we'll get you set going into the week. We're going to keep going as much as we can. Now that the draft is over, we're kind of entering a dead period in the NFL, but NFL is a 12-month ordeal. So something will happen in the next couple of hours.
We'll figure out something to fight about. We always do.
And if
the NFL is a soap opera now, so we'll definitely figure something out.
Yeah. And if anybody watching or listening, if you have questions that you want them to debate, feel free to put them in the comment section here. And that's one of those things where we might have like free for all Monday, where we let the viewers take over.
Say even message the 3 of us on Twitter.
Yeah,
and the 3 of us will keep track of.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people do that actually. Yeah, if you message, I'll hit you right back. If you message me on Twitter, I'll hit you right back, and we'll definitely
absolutely.
So all of our handles are right there. Go follow us there. We'll be back next week. This has been a brand new episode of Embrace Debate, Carolina Panthers podcast on the Keep Pounding Podcast Network. Keep pounding.